So this is all of the watermelon vines that I had to cut today. Look at them, look at them. I know it has a lot of baby watermelons in here, but they were not going to be nice, big, and juicy. Dad is weed eating. He likes to keep the area around the creek nice and tidy. And I'm getting ready to, guess what? Let's just get to the topic. Thin my plants. Thin them out so that I can have healthy fruit, especially for the watermelon. Now, some people try to skip the thinning process and wonder why their fruits don't grow big. I thin my watermelons, but for other things, like for instance, my green beans, I can leave 2 inside each hole. Like for this one right here, let me show you. I can leave 2 for my green beans, 2 plants, because they're gonna grow regardless. You know, they're pretty resilient. They're going to grow regardless of how many plants. So I just try to limit them to 2 seedlings and then let those seedlings grow and produce as many green beans as it possibly can. So this is what I have going on for my green beans. But when it comes to my watermelon plants, I have to thin them because I want my watermelons to be nice, big, and juicy. And if you leave too many plants in one hole, because you know I have the landscaping fabric and I have the watermelons about 3 to 5 feet apart from each other. So if I make a decision to leave 2 seedlings in one hole on the landscaping fabric, then my watermelons will be stunted, like the growth of the watermelons will be stunted. So there's only certain plants that you can actually allow to have 2 seedlings per hole. The peas is one of them. You can actually do it with the cucumbers and get away with it. You can actually do it with some of the leafy greens. I wouldn't recommend it for the tomatoes, but you can actually do it for the basils and some other herbs. But the watermelon, watermelon, gotta thin them. And today's the day to do it. It's actually overdue to do the watermelon. So let me show you how it works. I have my handy dandy pruner and I'm getting ready to go ahead and take care of the watermelon. So let me show you how I make my selection on which plant to actually cut. So I try to find the one watermelon plant that is doing better than the other, and then I cut the one that is not really growing too well. So for instance, in this situation, I'm going to keep this plant. It's a lot bigger than this one, and then look, already it has a little watermelon at the end. This one is shorter. Let me look at it. Kind of break it up a little bit. Yeah, this one is a lot shorter. So they're all tied up in here, tangled up. But what I do is kind of like untangle them and take a look at which one is better than the other. This one has just a little bitty watermelon. As you can see right here, tiny watermelon. But unfortunately, if I don't cut it, then guess what happens? Watermelon will not be sweet and it won't be big. It will actually be very undeveloped. So I always make sure that I keep one watermelon plant per hole. Have to do that with the watermelon. Other plants you can get away with having multiple plants in each hole, but this one can't do it. So let's go ahead and cut. Okay, let's make it happen. Sad, but you got to go. So remember, I always cut right here at the bottom, very close to the ground. And this is something that has to be done. And there it is. Got it out of the way. So, whew. So the other watermelon plant can now have a lot more water and a lot more nutrients in order to grow and be great. So now I finished that one. So we had 24 holes that contain watermelon plants, and now I have to do it for the other 23. So let's get to it. To go over the plants per hole again, I typically have one watermelon plant per hole. I also do the same thing with the tomato plants, the pepper seedlings, and also the okra. But I often leave 2 plants per hole for the cucumbers, bush beans, pole bean, and also lettuce. This is what it looks like now after I thinned some of it out, and look how much I had to thin. Ow, it's a lot of it, but I had to do it. So now let me show you what I found after I thinned my watermelon. I found one that looks bigger than all the rest of them. I'm happy about any victory that I have when I'm growing my food. It looks so good and healthy so far, but here is the watermelon. Here it is, right here. I already put a cardboard under it so I can find it, but that's the watermelon. Let me show you again. Look how big it is. This is gonna be so good. Whew, so that's the biggest one so far. There's other ones in there, and we'll just check in, look at everything as we go along. But I have finished thinning what I can for today. So, this is all of the watermelon vines that I had to cut today. Look at them, look at them. I know. It has a lot of baby watermelons in here, but they were not going to be nice, big, and juicy if I didn't thin this out. And I waited too late. You know, we had my son's graduation. Also, Dad is dealing with some stuff, so doctor's appointments. But finally got it in. It is done, and this is going to be good for our compost pile. I'm getting ready to go put it in right now. Okay. Looks like we got some, what is that? Oh, I think these are pumpkins. Look at that. Looks like we got some pumpkins growing in our compost pile. And I think that's fennel. I believe that's what that is. But here is the watermelon. And here goes the watermelon vines. Toss them right in the compost pile. So, whew, that is done. Had to do it. Had to do it. So, remember, it's all about health, producing the maximum, most beautiful fruits and vegetables that I can produce. And a part of that has to do with thinning. You gotta thin things out. So that's it, y'all. Trying to see what Dad is doing. You know, Dad is perfectionist. He will work. So let me check on him. And as always, remember to hype us up. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. Dad, let's go, Dad.
You got it?
You got it?
Ran a wire.
Ran out of wire. That means it's time to go.
Yeah, let me get this little bit right here. I'll be through.
Okay.